Hi, my name is David, and today we're going to be talking about creativity in the classroom using figure of speech. Let's begin. So, I'm going to be talking with you, the student, about how you can pull forth creativity through outlets such as music, writing, and poetry. For any musician, their lyrics have a depth that is much deeper than what is presented on the surface, and its intent is for the listener to really look to see what their lyrics could mean and almost make an interpretation of their own. Ever since receiving Jesus into my heart, I've listened solely to Christian artists who have a positive message and who push forth the gospel. Prior to becoming a Christian, music and hip hop, it meant a lot to me. And after receiving Jesus into my heart, those secular artists, their content and what the messages that they shared really had little hold over my heart and kind of my mind, and I just wasn't interested in it anymore. So that kind of started my search for Christian artists who, like I said, have a positive message. I'm going to talk about these musicians and how their lyrics are expressions of one's own thoughts, their feelings, and just the message that they want to share with the world. I'm going to be going through different figures of speech, their definitions and examples, and then I'm going to tie that into different music videos and how the musician uses those figures of speech to kind of provide a deeper uh, content to their lyrics. The first figure of speech I'm going to be talking about is alliteration. This is a repetition of initial consonant sounds. An example is Sally sells seashells. So as you can see, there's just a common sound at the beginning of every word, and musicians like to do this to add to the artistry of their delivery. The second thing is allusion, making an indirect reference. An example of this is David was being Scrooge. This is a character from a Charles Dickens novel known as A Christmas Carol. And basically what this is doing is just showing you David's character. Showing that he was angry, that he was upset, that he was bitter, that he had a reason to show contempt towards everyone that came his way. The next figure of speech is hyperbole. This is an exaggeration to put emphasis on a particular phrase. Our example is Usain Bolt runs faster than a cheetah. Obviously, he's not a cheetah, but this is kind of also similar to a metaphor, which we'll get to in a few moments. Irony is a phrase that means the opposite of its literal meaning. Our example today is his argument was clear as mud. Obviously, these are two very different things. Mud is not clear, it's murky, it's very dark, it's hard to see through. So you could just see the irony in that phrase alone. Let's move on to the next one. Metaphor, a comparison between two unlike things, but they also share a common characteristic. Let's go back to our previous example. Usain Bolt runs faster than cheetah. Obviously, Usain Bolt is a human. A cheetah is an animal, but Usain Bolt is one of the fastest human beings in the world, and a cheetah is one of the fastest animals in the world. So pairing the two unlike things together, you can kind of get a visual of just how fast each of those individual components are. An oxymoron is a contradictory or opposite words being placed together. A cold fire. One secular artist that does this a lot is Kanye West. He likes to place two very unlike things together to provide a depth to his lyrical content. A paradox is a statement that seems to contradict itself. An example is deep down you're really shallow. So this is going into the depth of your heart, providing an instance or an example of saying that really at the depth of who you are, you're really a shallow person. You're very superficial. You don't really go and share those deep things, those deep pains, those deep healings even with others, and it's very hard to break into the inner shells of who you are. Personification is giving an inanimate object human qualities. The sunflower ran to the nearest spot where the sun shone. Obviously, sunflowers do not have legs, they cannot run, but what this shows is that the sunflower is in a very dark and cold place, and it's searching for the nearest place of warmth. A pun is a play on words. Our example here is atheism is a non-profit institution. Profit being both a biblical term as well as a play on words to show that institutions are only intention for the institution is to gain money, acquire profit for its own financial gain. And lastly, a simile is a comparison between two unlike things using like or as. So now I'm going to get into our first video, which is Andy Mineo, Hear My Heart. I'm going to play that video for you right now, and then we're going to go through some of the lyrical content that kind of goes with those figures of speech.
That's when I met your friends, and they was all having conversation, but they was saying stuff that I couldn't understand. Then all of a sudden it felt like I understood something I missed my whole life. For the first time I was wearing your shoes, and for the first time I was hearing your views. I never knew how complicated life is when you feel so isolated. And I know we don't speak much, cause when talking got hard, all I ever did was throw the piece up. My big sister Grace, I'm sorry, I never learned to sign. And even though you were born deaf, I pray you forgive me for the years I lived blind. In my heart.
See from the video, even in the title, Hear My Heartbeat, that is a personification, because obviously you cannot hear your own heartbeat. But what Andy Mineo is trying to say is hear my emotions, hear my pain, hear all these mistakes that I made, especially towards my sister who was deaf. I'm going to go through some lyrics right now. Then all of a sudden it felt like I understood something I was missing my whole life. For the first time I was wearing your shoes. For the first time I was hearing your views. Andy Mineo is placing himself within his sister's shoes of not being able to be understood, not being able to be heard, not being able to communicate. Going back to our lyrics, I never knew how complicated life is when you feel so isolated. And I know we don't speak much. Again, that's a pun. His sister doesn't speak. Because when talking got hard, all I ever did was throw the piece up. My big sister Grace, I'm sorry I never learned to sign, and even though you were born deaf, I pray you forgive me for the years I lived blind. That's again a play on words, because Andy Mineo obviously isn't blind, but in the situation he was blind to how his sister felt. He never learned how to communicate with her. He never learned how to kind of almost feel for her. And this song is basically getting to the depth of his heart and how he feels towards that situation and wanting to make things right. And there's the art of it is just amazing. And let's get into our second song, which is Lecrae, All That I Need Is You.
My time zone when my mind's gone and I'm flying home and I'm stressed out and I'm tempted to get that styrofoam and go pull it up, but you know what's up and you know that ain't gonna solve nothing. I mean, Lord forbid I might fall or something and I'm all another, cause all I need is you to hold me down like bitch strapped to the psych ward. It's killing me, but you still with me when I fight hard. And you digging me when I'm digging you. Deal with me when my car's full. Could've dealt with me, but you fell for me before I fell for you. Keep me on that right path and the right man. It's you plus nothing's everything. You my everything. Saying you ain't gotta question my allegiance, cause the way you love me, I could never leave. I need you by my side.
So as you can see, Lecrae, he's another Christian artist. He's probably one of the more well-known ones within the Christian circle. In his song, All I Need Is You. I'm going to read through some lyrics for you guys. Keep me in my time zone when my mind's gone. When I'm flying home and I'm stressed out and I'm tempted to get that styrofoam and go pour it up, but you know what's up. And you know that ain't gonna solve nothing. I mean, Lord forbid I might fall or something. And I'm all or nothing, cause all I need is you. To hold me down like bed straps to the psych ward. It's killing me, but you still with me when I fought hard. So what Lecrae does is a lot of going back to our definitions. alliteration. He uses repetitions of sounds. He uses rhyming. He uses plays on words, all to kind of add to the craft of how words go together. Time zone, mind's gone, flying home, styrofoam, pour it up, know what's up, ain't gonna solve nothing, might fall or something, bed straps to the psych ward, you still with me when I fight hard. So there's a lot of rhyme, and this rhyme adds to the overall content of Lecrae's song. So this is the bibliography. This is all the listings of the definitions, as well as giving credit to the 2 music videos. And again, the purpose of this video is really so that you can kind of get an idea of how you can use different figures of speech to get a message across, to make your content deeper, to allow writing to come alive, to allow writing to kind of express your heart. And as students, that is something that I want to teach you, is how to express yourself in a healthy way with a positive message. So thank you again for listening, and this is my lesson on using creativity in the classroom. Thank you.